"90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they work so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia." More information is at farmbureauadvantage.com.
Hi everybody, welcome to Virginia Farming. I'm Amy Rocher. Today we travel to Highland County and visit Allegheny Meats to find out what makes them unique. Then Chris Mullins has tips on growing melons from the ground up. We'll also have the Ag Calendar, a Minute in the Field video, and of course your Ag News of the Week, all on this edition of Virginia Farming. The USDA now offers a streamlined program that allows farmers and ranchers filing crop acreage reports with the Farm Service Agency and participating insurance providers approved by the Risk Management Agency to provide the common information from their acreage reports at one office. Farmers can file a report at one location, and the data that's important to both FSA and RMA will be securely and electronically shared with the other location. Officials say this streamlined reporting will avoid redundancy, and they expect it to save farmers and ranchers time. Accuracy in crop reporting is a key component for crop insurance because an error in that information can affect premiums or claims. This new tool is expected to greatly improve efficiencies and reduce mistakes. The Virginia Poultry Industry Center at the Rockingham County Fairgrounds plans to feature model miniature poultry industry trucks during this year's fair. The model trucks were popular with Virginia poultry companies over the years, and the goal is to have all companies, past and present, represented in the display. So the Virginia Poultry Industry Center is asking for your help in obtaining model trucks for that display. They may be donated or loaned. Either way, they will be safe at the VPIC in a glass display case inside a secure building, where visitors will not be able to touch or handle them. Lenders will fill out a form to keep track of items and to ensure they're not mixed up or lost. The Rockingham County Fair runs August 14th through the 20th, and VPIC is asking for trucks now so they know how to arrange for the display. VPIC Advisory Committee Chair Leanne Biller of Georges will be collecting the model trucks, and she can be contacted at the email address on your screen. American farmers are feeding the world, but providing steaks, chicken, and bacon for the masses means one heck of a lot of manure is being created. Protecting the environment from excess manure involves quite a bit of science. Sherry McKinney reports on how nutrient management plans work to deal with all that manure.
It's a law of nature. Scientifically speaking, animals actually need to relieve themselves more than humans. A lactating dairy cow can produce 150 pounds of manure daily. 20 broiler chickens will produce more than 4 pounds a day. It doesn't matter how many animals a farmer has, manure can be a sore spot with the neighbors. Nationally, farm animals produce more than 335 million tons annually. It must go somewhere, and by law, most farmers know how to handle it safely. Nutrient management plans are then written and filed by farmers. These plans estimate the amount of manure a farm will produce, how it is stored, and where it will end up.
It's a pretty in-depth science behind it, taking into account environmental factors such as slope and proximity to water and soil's characteristics for leaching, as well as its productivity levels of the soil and its ability to be taken up by the crops.
Plans are required for larger livestock operations. On dairy and hog farms, the manure is typically stored in a manure pit until it can be used as an organic fertilizer on field crops. Manure is an excellent source of nutrients for plants, and if the crops fully absorb those nutrients, they won't run off into streams or groundwater. People like Mark Devers is what you would call a manure broker. He's in the business of removing litter from poultry houses and transporting it to farm fields. Devers is a farmer himself, but found that there was a market opportunity to pick up and apply litter for other farmers.
The reason a lot of people really love it is because it's slow release. And it's not based off of chemicals and chemicals and oil and other products. It's a natural product. It's organic. Everybody seems to be going a lot more organic now, and fertilizer's in demand because of that, because it's an organic source.
Soil scientists say manure is an excellent fertilizer containing nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and other nutrients. It also adds as an organic matter to the soil, which may improve soil structure, aeration, soil moisture holding capacity, and water infiltration. It is safe to use when managed properly. Poultry manure has the highest nitrogen content, followed by hog, steer, sheep, dairy, and horse manure. Beyond nutrients, the use of manure on the farm is especially helpful for the farmer's budget.
I follow my nutrient management plan. We have the litter sampled. We have the ground sampled to see what we need. We do it in an economic way. I'm not going to go out here and throw money on the ground that I don't need to put down to grow a crop. None of your farmers are going to do that. You hear the homeowner, when they buy that bag of fertilizer, if they'd actually read, they only need half that bag of fertilizer on their lawn.
So how does a farmer know how much to apply? Soil samples are sent to the Virginia Tech Soil Testing Lab. Several state and federal regulations require records of application, including when and how much was applied.
Farmers are deeply concerned with water and soil quality, as many of the Virginia residents are, because we are living off the land that we produce our crops on, as well as there are many people that are dependent on the Chesapeake Bay for water quality, and so it's important to us and important to many Virginians.
When you're smelling poultry manure, you're smelling the nitrogen and ammonia in it, and most of the time that'll dissipate within 24 hours and you won't smell it again. That's one of the main reasons we have a lot of people we deal with a lot around subdivisions. We're spreading manures and stuff, and the smell goes in and people don't like it, and that's why they don't like manures. But to me, the smell of manure is just money in my pocket.
To find out if your soil could benefit from using garden manure, it will require soil testing. Soil test kits are available through your local Soil and Water Conservation District office or your local Virginia Cooperative Extension office. Reporting in Rockingham County, I'm Sherry McKinney.
Thanks, Sherry. Industry stakeholders have conducted wheat quality tours in the Midwest for decades, but Mid-Atlantic soft wheat tours are still in their infancy. Last week, 10 agronomists, granary operators, merchandisers, millers, and traders gathered on the Northern Neck and Middle Peninsula and in Culpeper County to tour Virginia wheat farms. Organizers hope the tour will shed light on Virginia's wheat industry and help expand production. The Mid-Atlantic Soft Wheat Tour started about 5 years ago in Pennsylvania. Since then, the tour has grown to 32 industry leaders and covers Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Delaware, and this year adding New Jersey and Virginia. The results of all the tours were compiled and presented on a June 14th event in Pennsylvania. Well, for farmers living in close proximity to larger towns, meat processing facilities are pretty easy to find. But for farmers in more remote areas like Highland County, having their beef, hogs, lambs, and other livestock processed meant a long, slow drive over the mountains, which put a lot of stress on their animals. Well, all that changed a few years ago, and today we'll find out how when we visit Allegheny Meats. That's straight ahead on Ag Insights. So today we're in Monterey, Virginia, and we're visiting Allegheny Meats. I'm joined by Betty Mitchell, and Betty is the executive director of the Highland Center. Betty, thank you so much for having us out here today.
Oh, appreciate being with you.
Well, before we get to Allegheny Meats, let's talk a little bit about the Highland Center. You're executive director there.
I am.
What is the Highland Center all about?
We are a catalyst for economic and cultural development in Highland County, and that was our role in bringing the Ag Center forward many years ago. That was our involvement.
Okay. Now, Allegheny Meats has been here for how long?
It's been in operation since April of 2012.
Okay. And how did it come to being? I mean, was there a need, or how did it happen?
Yeah, a lot of producers and people have been talking about this for years, and back in 2001 we had hoped to have a value-added producer grant from USDA, and that application was turned down, and then Margaret and Jim Morse of Mad Maggie Farm resurrected that in 2002, and then by 2004 they finished the project that they were doing looking at adding value to lamb in the area. and decided that one of the big stumbling blocks was processing. And so from that, a grant was written to the Appalachian Regional Commission, and they funded a feasibility study for the Ag Center.
Okay. So, is this the only facility of its type in this area?
In the four-county area, which is really the region in which we're working, which is Bath and Highland in Virginia and Pocahontas and Pendleton, West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, so within that four-county area, it is.
So I'm sure there was a big need here.
There absolutely was. I mean, you came over the mountains today from Harrisonburg on 33, and you know the twists and turns.
Right.
So when you're thinking of animals being taken to the valley, which was the alternative for slaughter, it's quite a long drive for a live animal. So it's great to be able to have the processing here for the farmers.
It is. So is that what was happening before Allegheny Meats came to be? Was everybody hauling their animals across the mountain?
Yeah, and most people were selling as a commodity. My husband and I have a very small sheep farm. We have about 30 head, but anytime we wanted to have anything processed, it was really a day off work to go and take the animals over and wait and we had to bring the head and hide back. So, I mean, now living 5 minutes away, it's something you can do on the way to work.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the Highland Center's role with Allegheny Meats. You helped get it started.
We did help get it started.
What is
and
your role now?
We are now working and trying to do more with marketing so that the facility is fully utilized. You'll be going inside and seeing all the wonderful resources here. And we want to make sure that people are using it to its fullest capacity. So we have recently received a marketing grant from the USDA that will be a 2-year time frame that will be able to really highlight the farmers, let people know where to buy meats that are being processed here, and help develop a market beyond the four-county region, because obviously
Right.
population centers outside of these mountains are where we need to be sending more meat to really grow the economy.
Absolutely. And that website is called
We have one called Faces of Farmers.
Faces of Farmers.
Yeah, and that gives you the ability to see who's processing lamb, beef, hogs, whatever you're looking for.
Right, right. Getting to know where your food comes from.
Absolutely.
Great. Well, I think we're going to go inside and look for Caroline Smith. She's going to tell us about more of what's going on here.
Right. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thanks for talking to us, Betty.
Bye-bye.
So we've caught up with Caroline Smith, and Caroline, you were on the board of managers for Allegheny Meats, correct?
That's true, I still am.
So here we are in the actual production room. We've got carcasses hanging behind us. Tell us a little bit about the services Allegheny Meats provides.
Allegheny Meats provides USDA inspected meat, and we also we process meat, and then we process meat for home use. We do a wide range of animals. We do goats and lambs, pigs, bison, and beef. So there's always a lot of change going on every day in what we're doing.
Okay. Now you guys haven't been open for that long, just a few years, but what are some things, how have you grown since the inception of this facility?
Well, one of the things I think is most exciting is that a number of producers have moved into selling meat as a business of their own. And so we weren't sure when we started what our percentage of USDA and home use meat was going to be. But certainly in lamb and pork and bison, that's almost all USDA. And I would say about half of our beef is now. And so that's meat that's being produced, and then the person who raised the beef is earning extra money by selling it directly.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about USDA because that really plays a big role here.
Right,
Because you are USDA inspected.
correct.
So everything that comes out of the door. So explain to me why that makes a difference. Why does that make a difference for our farmers who are raising beef and lamb and bison?
Well, USDA means that we have a trained inspector who comes here and watches the animals at every step of the way. He watches them get off the trailer, he watches them load in before they're slaughtered, he watches to make sure that everything is clean and that the animals are treated well. Here in the processing room, they check the equipment constantly to make sure that we don't do anything to hurt anybody with the meat that comes out of here.
Okay. And I know that since the inception, Allegheny Meats has been very big on humane animal treatment.
Right.
tell us a little bit about that. Why is that so important?
Well, I think that one of the problems we're having in agriculture now is that there's a big crisis of confidence that people are, the end users of the meat are worrying about. With animal welfare approved, there's an inspector who comes through every year and watches what we do and talks to us about what we do. And it's just it's a way of helping people feel better about what they eat.
Right. And I know I've read where I know milk production goes up when our dairy cattle are kept comfortable and treated well. And I think it fares the same for beef cattle and lambs and other meat animals, that when they are taken care of, they have better meat.
Right.
They produce more.
Right. Well, and one of the nice things about this facility is that before, all of our farmers would have to take the animals over the mountain, and that's an hour to an hour and a half trip in a trailer, and it's just not, it's so nice to be able to just bring them up the road here.
Right. And that in itself is a big plus for the animals.
That's true.
Now, you are not only on the board of managers, but you are actually a farmer here in Highland County, and you raise beef.
I do.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, once I knew that Allegheny Meats was going to be built, I switched from raising cattle to raising beef. Actually, through the Animal Welfare Approved program, I found a butcher in the Washington, D.C. area who was making it his goal to sell only Animal Welfare Approved meat. And so we connected and liked each other, and he buys 5 animals every other month until I get bigger, and then he'll buy more. So
Okay.
it gives me a good production.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about what comes out of Allegheny Meats. Now, you do not have a retail store as of yet. Is that something that might be in the future?
We have permits we have permission from the county to have a retail store. We just haven't figured out, we've set up our business so that individual producers bring their meat in, but we haven't really set up right now for Allegheny Meats to sell something.
Right.
So it would either be we're selling other people's meat, and we're still very small, and so we don't want, it's not useful at this point to have retail sales.
Right.
There are stores in Monterey that sell locally grown meat. They're getting to be restaurants, so people can get it and they can buy it here, but it's just not an official retail outlet.
Okay. All right, I want to talk a little bit about this carcass. On the other side, you can see that it's labeled not for sale.
Correct.
So tell us about the process. What's going to happen? This is a half of a beef.
Right.
What's going to happen to this that is labeled not for sale?
Well, someone has either bought this half, or the person who owns the animal is going to have it cut up into steaks and roasts and take it home.
Okay.
The benefit is, because it's processed in a USDA facility, it still has the same level of cleanliness and everything else. It's just that because it's for home consumption, it is not inspected. It doesn't
Okay.
have to be inspected.
All right. Now, when people come to Allegheny Meats, like if I want to buy a half a beef and I have an arrangement with my farmer to do that, and they say we use Allegheny Meats, do you provide me a cut sheet and then I can go through and select how I want my half cut in my steak thickness, or if I want organs? This one still has the kidneys on it, and
Right.
down lower we see the liver and tongue, I
Right,
think.
right.
And so do you provide a sheet for those folks to do that?
We do, and it's nice because our office manager is named Troy Sneed, and she works with every customer, because many people haven't had a beef cut up before, so or anything, and so she explains every cut of meat. And so when the customer and Troy have agreed, then we cut it up according to their specifications, because we're a custom facility.
Right. And then everything is packaged. Now, do you package in white paper or do you vacuum?
We do vacuum packing.
Okay.
We just have found it stays nice longer. People can see their meat. I mean,
Right.
it just has a lot more eye appeal.
Yes. So Caroline, how many people are employed here at Allegheny Meats?
At this point, Allegheny Meats employs 8 full-time people. We have 1 person in front, 2 people or 3 people working on the kill floor, and then whatever the balance is working here in the processing room.
Okay. And is that how many days a week?
5 days a week from 8 until 5.
And everybody who's here are local residents?
Yes, they're all from West Virginia or from Virginia.
Okay.
Because Allegheny Meats was started out as a 4-county project, so there are 2 counties in West Virginia and 2 counties in Virginia, and we draw employees and customers from all 4 counties.
Okay. Well, if our viewers would like more information on Allegheny Meats, where should they go?
We have a website, www.alleghenymeats.com, and that's Allegheny with an A, A-L-L-E-G-H-A-N-Y.
Okay. AlleghenyMeats.com. All right. Well, thank you so much for having us out here today. It's been really enjoyable, and we've got some beautiful cuts of meat here that are, well, they're going to end up being beautiful cuts.
That's true. Right now, they're just pretty carcasses.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you for coming. We're always, we would like to tell as many people as possible that we're here and that we do great service.
I think you do. It looks like a very well-oiled machine.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Melons are a nutritious, hydrating treat in the summer months. Today, Chris Mullins talks about growing melons from the ground up.
Well, hi. Today we're at Virginia State University's Randolph Farm, and we're in a melon patch. This time of the year it's pretty warm, and I always think back to childhood when we would crack open nice cold watermelons and cantaloupes, and it brings back good memories of growing up. And I'm sure it's the same with a lot of you all. And you can buy watermelons and cantaloupes, really good ones, at your grocery store, at the farmer's market, or a roadside stand. But you can also grow your own. So let's look at how we can do that in your garden. Well, it's a little bit late right now to think about putting melons in this year. Mostly in May is when you would plant melons in Virginia. But if you're like me, you like to plan ahead for next year. And one of the first things you need to do when you're thinking about next year is looking at varieties, looking at your seed catalogs. You're going to find varieties of watermelons and cantaloupes that are going to do fine no matter where you are in the state. Some of them are going to mature a little bit shorter or longer, and you need to think about that. But there's lots of good varieties out there. The next thing you need to think about is spacing, because these plants really take up a lot of space. Watermelons probably take up a little more than cantaloupes, and when you're planting those, whether either you're putting a seed in the ground or you're putting transplants in the ground, you need to probably put about 4 feet between the plants within the row. And you need to plant, if you're planting other rows beside it, you need to give probably about 4 or 5 feet on each side of your watermelon row. Now, if you've got a tight space, you might want to try growing these and trellising them up in some way. And as long as you support the fruit as it's starting to grow with something like pantyhose, for example, it'll keep that from falling down, and you can trellis these up and they're going to grow just fine for you. Now, another thing you need to think about are weeds. Throughout your garden you're battling weeds, but especially with these because you're leaving a lot of space between the rows. As you'll see here, we've got some ground cover between the rows, and that's really doing a lot of things. But first of all, it's keeping the weeds out. And these melons, as they lay on the ground, they're not going to get dirty like they normally would. So it really helps us a lot there. Animals like raccoons and deer can get in here and smash the watermelons and eat the flesh out of them. So you've got to think about that. Even commercial growers have to deal with this problem, and they put up electric fence or very tall, strong fence, and that can certainly keep those animals out. So you need to think about that and try to keep those animals out of your garden when you're growing watermelons and cantaloupes. So you are growing those, and how do you tell when they are ripe? Well, you can thump on your melon all you want, but that's probably not the best method for finding out if it's ripe or not. The best thing to do is look at your plant, look at the curlicue or tendril that's closest to your melon. If it's dried up and brown, then that means your melon is ready to go and should be nice and sweet. Well, there's lots of production information about cantaloupes and watermelons that we didn't go over today, but if you talk to your local county extension office, your master gardener there, they can help you with some of that information. Well, for From the Ground Up, I'm Chris Mullins, and we'll see you next time.
Taking a look at the ag calendar, Virginia Agriculture in the Classroom will host a free professional development series for preschool and elementary school teachers in 8 locations in July and August. Teachers will leave with a curriculum unit, lessons, maps, books, and posters for their classrooms, and also learn how to pull even more resources from AITC to implement into their lesson plans. For more information, visit the web address on your screen. That does it for our show. Thanks so much for watching and have a great week. I'm Amy Rocher for Virginia Farming.
"90 years ago, the Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve a way of life they worked so hard to establish. We want to keep Virginia, Virginia. Anyone can be a Farm Bureau member, and there's a local Farm Bureau in every county. More information is at vafarmbureau.org.